welcome to episode 50 of the Fourth and Skull podcast. It is so good to be back. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Sam.
And my name is Patrick.
Pat.
The big 5-0, Sam.
The big 5-0.
We would have hit that one a while ago, but we were busy with life.
Yeah. Just life.
It happens.
You know, it happens.
Yeah. Everyone knows 2020.
It's a strange
year.
new world. Yeah.
It's a strange year.
But regardless.
Nonetheless.
We're back.
The Vikings are the 8th seed in what appears to be a fairly abysmal NFC conference.
And guess what? So we're going to talk all about the playoff picture today.
Yeah.
But the Steelers-Ravens game just right before we started this podcast was pushed back to Wednesday.
It did.
So I think if that gets delayed any further, that's officially into the week after, which will then trigger that 8th playoff spot. Am I correct?
Did you look that up or?
I don't know. I'm just talking.
Well, I'm looking it up right now because I'm actually kind of curious.
Well, while we look that up, what a game, Pat. Oh my gosh. This game was just fun to watch. It was good to watch a fun football game this year. Like, know, it had its stressful moments. You know, but like it wasn't super frustrating. Like there were some dumb officiating moments for me that like I was like really, but like overall it wasn't like so frustrating that it was unenjoyable. Like it was just an enjoyable game to watch. For
exactly.
Me.
Yeah.
You know, seeing Teddy back out there, you know, slinging the ball in Minneapolis. I loved it. It was just such a. It just felt like a good day.
It's too bad that we couldn't give Teddy the ovation that he just deserves every time he comes home.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what? Like it was
a good game. It really was.
And
I didn't get to watch kind of from start to finish. I saw bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But there was a lot to talk about in the entire game.
So won the toss, deferred, right?
Yeah.
And our defense went out there and got a stop right away. And that set us up to go down, and we marched on the field. Justin Jefferson, touchdown. No Adam Thielen.
And just how you've alluded to all the time, it's that first drive. We're on point. Usually the first drive, it's just a scripted drive. Everyone knows what they're doing, what their assignments are, what their jobs are, and we usually come out hot.
And you know what? We held them. They marched down the field. I think I think it was their 2-minute drive. It was our bend don't break whatever that eventually broke. And so they got a touchdown before the end of the first half. But really, you know, we went to halftime 10-7, and we were really dominating that game.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought we were playing really well. We were playing a fairly complete game. BB took a shot when he was receiving a punt. I saw that one. They threw a flag on it, but he held onto the ball, and I was like, yes.
Right.
You know, like this is what KJ Osborne can do. And I'm setting that up for what's later on in the game. So what I want to talk about before we get to the BB redemption, I want to talk about those first 2 plays out of the halftime. Did you see those plays?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, the Cook the strip sack first.
The strip sack.
And then Cook was stripped also.
Yeah. So 2 back-to-back offensive plays where we get stripped for a scoop and score. And it's
that's not the first.
What is happening?
That's not the first time that's happened this season.
No?
Well, there was another. I remember. I swear to God, there was another game where we had back-to-back turnovers.
You know,
I don't know if that was. I think it was Seattle, maybe. I think Seattle.
Let that happen?
It was Seattle because we were leading that game, and then next thing you know, you were you went to the bathroom and you came back and it was like 21-14.
I think you're right.
Like, what the hell?
And you know what? Ezra Cleveland would not have let that happen. We need him back in the lineup.
Yeah.
We need him.
Yeah.
So they get 14 points off of a fluke, right? And that was just okay. At that point, it was like, what is happening?
I don't know if it's a fluke.
It was a fluke.
No, that's part of the game. They were stripped.
It's part of the game. But flukes happen in the game too.
Here's what
part of the game.
But that's not a fluke. This is what a fluke is. This is like a Kirk Cousins fumble, the snap, the ball goes over the head. That's a fluke in my opinion.
If Kirk Cousins fumbled the snap, you would be crucifying him right now.
Yeah. I would. Listen, man, I'm going to just get this out of the way. I have nothing bad to say. I could not believe what I was witnessing. The guy was mobile.
Yeah.
He was scrambling for first downs.
Kirk had quite the day.
He was distributing the ball. 34 player?
34 for 45, Pat. 34 for 45 on his passing, 307 yards, averaging 6.8, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Okay, there's been a few games where Kirk Cousins has honestly earned the paycheck that he's going to get, and this was one of those games.
And you know what?
He earned it.
It's starting to become more of the norm rather than the exception. I'll be the first to agree that Kirk Cousins has not performed. He wasn't the guy we thought he was, but he's starting to put string a couple of good games together.
Yeah.
You know, when he's scrambling for those first downs and he's lunging, oh man.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you can just keep extending the drive, your probabilities of scoring and winning are exponential.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I want to get back to those 14 points on those two on those 2 strip sacks. So like I really do think that they were a fluke. Like our offensive line, the first one I believe Kirk was dropping back to pass. The second one was Dalvin Cook, and I'm not sure what was going on with that. He got injured on that play, so I'm sure something happened. He got injured.
Was he out for a couple plays?
He was out. He was out
okay.
for almost a whole quarter.
Okay, yeah.
After that, but I'm sure he got hurt, dropped the ball to address whatever's going on inside of his body.
Right.
I get that happens. The Kirk strips. So Kirk was completely wrapped up, and like he the way his body was positioned and the way in which he was wrapped up, it wasn't his fault. Like he was
his
being
hand was
like,
just extended.
It was extended out, and somebody just had to like.
No, it was just a clean play.
It was a clean play.
Yeah.
Fluke. But you got to hand it to the Carolina defense. They brought it. But I just really don't think that like that's indicative of how we were put. So our defense, if you look at what our defense was able to do, they really held them to 2 touchdowns, one of which was in the they held them to the 1 touchdown in our dumb bend don't break, and then 2 field goals, and that was it.
Right.
And
Kendricks had the interception. Which back-to-back games now with interceptions.
Was it Wilson that had the block?
No, that was that was you said, is it Wunu?
Oh, Wanham. DJ Wanham,
who's having
quietly
having
an incredible season.
He's like half a sack back from like leading all rookies in sacks.
Oh my god!
Even Chase Young, who was drafted second overall or whatever to the Redskins.
So we talked about how well Kirk is doing. We know what we have in our offensive weapons in Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, Thielen, who wasn't even out there.
Which I'm gonna say, oddly enough, was a blessing.
You think so?
Yeah, because hear me out, okay? Kirk Cousins, I cannot help but feel like he is narrow-sighted on like one player.
Sure.
Okay. I feel like that's how he was all at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, I don't think.
And we've seen it in other plays. We saw it a lot in Kyle Rudolph early in his tenure in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He would go to Rudolph a lot.
But like early on in the year, in the first 3 games where we just sucked it up and he was throwing interceptions, is because he was looking at Thielen only, right?
Yeah.
He didn't even have trust in Jefferson. And then it was like by that second, third, fourth game, then we were like, why are you not throwing him the ball?
Yeah.
And now he's finally got trust in him.
Look, BC Johnson, 7 receptions on 7 targets. He had a pretty good day.
BC Johnson,
74 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Jefferson, 13 targets, 7 receptions, 70 yards, couple touchdowns. Rudolph, 7 receptions on 8 targets.
Yes.
Chad Beebe, 7 receptions on 7 targets. Dalvin Cook had 4 receptions. So, and even Conklin was getting the ball.
Yeah.
Like, we were getting into it. So you're right. He was absolutely spreading the ball around.
Yeah. I honestly think this was Kirk Cousins' best game in a Vikings uniform.
Yeah, I'd agree. It was
from
really good.
A passing perspective, from a mobility perspective, from how he was thinking critically. This is all I've envisioned.
What you're saying right now is just warming my soul.
I literally don't have anything negative to say, and it's like a part of me's like fighting that. It's like I'm still like, well, he's still, but I don't. I've got nothing to say but good things.
Yeah, no, it was great. So talking about how great our offense is, our defense has been I think our systemic. If you look at just the total scores of the game, our defense is the one who's the
total scores of this game or games.
Just games. Period.
Yeah, I'm
backing up through our season.
If you're gonna defend Kirk Cousins, then I'm gonna defend the defense.
No. I'm just saying, looking at the season as a whole.
Yeah.
At the box scores.
Yeah. That's misleading. Okay. Because in the first when we went 1-5, do you know how many times we turned the ball over in our half of the field?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good point.
So I think most people are very critical of the defense, but I'm more on the defensive side.
So
what
I was going to get at is I think our defense has turned the corner.
You're saying yes. I thought you were saying the opposite.
They started out needing a little bit of work, and a lot of young guys. I think, and what we're seeing now is a refined defense, and it's not quite to the 2017 level, but I give it maybe next year. We could be 2017 level Zimmer defense. And I think the mistakes that they're making, the few mistakes that they do make, are rookie mistakes that are made by rookies. Like you look at the touchdown pass that Dallas got against Cam Dancer. It was because Cam Dancer was trying to hand his guy off to Harrison Smith, and he didn't pick up Harrison Smith's guy.
Wait, was that on the one where CeeDee Lamb had that 180 twist?
No,
I was like, dude, that was perfect coverage.
That was something else. It was towards the end.
Anyways, yeah. When he was wide open.
Yeah. Just a rookie making a rookie mistake, and that's okay. Like they're learning and they're turning that corner, and I think that by next year we could see a 2017 quality Zimmer defense.
Well, there's that too.
And mix that with all the weapons we have, and everybody's under contract.
So on top of the fact that we no longer are in any contention, which we never were, let's be real, for a high draft pick.
High draft pick.
We really never were. Okay, it was fun to think about it.
Yeah.
Was never in contention. Here's what I have
you know
going
what?
forward
That
to
BYU
next year, though.
quarterback might be available.
I am looking at him too. I do like him too. But what I want to say, though, again, going into next year is when you just look at some of our box scores here and the final scores, we're in all of these games.
Dude.
Minus the Atlanta game, we were not. Okay,
that was
flat out.
so weird.
And the first Packer game, we weren't either.
That was so weird.
Okay, yeah, that was just an odd game. It was a trap game.
The Falcons blew out. Who did they just blow out this week? They blew somebody out.
Dude, that's the NFL for you.
The Raiders, who mark the Kansas City Chiefs' only loss.
Yeah, so that's why even heading in at home here against Jacksonville, I'm not going into this. Just how we did it with the Cowboys. I think we thought we were going to smoke them.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing about the NFL is that you never know what's going to happen. But what I'm getting at, though, is heading into next year, I am very excited because these are winnable games. Like, as a team, when you look back, you're like, couple plays go our way, and we're sitting at 7-3. We're sitting at whatever. You know what I mean? So, like, heading into next year on top of the player progression, and if Kirk can play how he's been playing the last, 5 games to start the year like that, I don't know what it was at the beginning of the year if he wasn't comfortable. I just don't know.
Everyone needs a preseason, man. Shaking off the cobwebs.
So okay, there's that too. I cried that we need preseason.
Looking at the win losses of all the teams, there are teams that are have 10 wins right now, and then there's teams that have 5 wins.
Yeah,
and you can tell that it's the teams that needed a preseason and they didn't get it.
Yeah, exactly. No, and for sure, and that's for sure. But what I'm getting at, just to kind of end this on my end here, is just going into next year. I love the foundation we've got for the rookies. And we've got all these new starters and new players on defense that you can't expect them to just cohesively stick together.
Everybody's getting reps. Everybody's under contract.
Yeah.
Speaking of contracts, I think that we have a gem in Eric Wilson. I think we need to trade Anthony Barr yesterday. I love Anthony Barr, but he has a huge salary cap hit. I'm sorry, he's making $60 million
he's making
over 4
more
years
than Kendricks.
Like
and I was talking to my buddy Evan, and I'm like, it is a crying shame that Kendricks is not the leading highest paid linebacker.
Yeah,
he's the best.
And Eric Wilson, he is. Yeah. Him and Kendricks are tied for the most interceptions by a linebacker in the NFL right now.
Right.
And Anthony Barr,
is there any way we could have all 3 of them on the field at one time?
I don't know.
I know sometimes
Troy Dye, he's our rookie. He's been a presence too. You don't see his name called because people aren't going his way.
It's tough. They're going to need to make some moves because our cap is going to be interesting.
Our cap is going to be interesting,
and they go down. I think $20 million. I think the cap goes down, doesn't it?
It goes down.
It's going down. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Because of no fans, the revenue and stuff that all factors in. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
It's going to be interesting next year.
It will be very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think that Eric Wilson is the future of our linebacking core, and we keep Kendricks, Eric Wilson, Troy Dye, and I think that's a solid group.
I would have no problem getting rid of Barr.
And I mean Barr, he's a good player.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
He's trade capital.
Yeah.
I think that we could. I think that we could really get a lot for him. So moving along in this game, because I do want to talk about the redemption of Chad Beebe.
Yes,
So he muffs that punt, and I'm like, dude, this is it. This is it.
Classic.
PA called it. He's like, this is it. The Vikings don't deserve to win this game. This, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And our defense holds them to a freaking field goal.
I could not believe that.
Dude.
I could not believe that.
On the 5-yard line.
I was walking into work, and I'm watching on the Gamecast thing, and I'm like, 3rd down, 4th down. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was nuts, dude. And then,
but no, wait.
And then it was like, all right, they held him to a field goal, but now Kirk's got to go make a 2-minute drive.
Yeah.
And he does it.
Did, yeah. It almost, I don't know. It almost feels like maybe they practice a little more of the 2-minute end of game because the Cowboys game and then the Titans game where we were stopped. There was no drive at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if they practice more, or if it just the matchups and all that. And Kirk all game was gunning it.
Yeah.
He was throwing with confidence.
But we were actually running out routes to the sideline.
Yeah.
We were actually, finding guys in the hole in the zone, for big chunk plays.
Yeah.
And it's that's what you got to do.
Exactly.
So, and then to cap that drive off,
Who other than Chad Beebe?
And it's crazy because he had a fantastic offensive game. Even special teams wise, up until that point, he was playing pretty well. But our special teams have just been murdering us these past few weeks.
Dude.
Just murdering us.
I know you heard. Everybody heard it. Guess how many special punt return yards we have this year?
How many?
13.
Are you serious?
13.
dude. Not to
13 yards.
Dude, not to mention the yards we're giving up on returns and the freaking Cordero Patterson. We didn't even get a chance to talk about it, but the Cordero Patterson kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah, dude. It was special teams is abysmal this year.
I just don't.
Football is a 3-facet game.
Yeah, it really
is.
You can have a perfect offensive and defensive game and lose the game in special teams. You really can. And during that Bears game, you saw Zimmer going off on our special teams coordinator, dude. And then he saved his job with that muff punt that the Bears had.
Yeah, that's right.
But, man, people are losing their jobs left and right this year. There is no COVID protection.
No.
The Jaguars GM just lost their job. Yep. I honestly think Nagy and the Bears GM are Detroit Patricia and their GM are out. Like a lot. Bill O'Brien, he lost his job. Like there is no COVID blanket for any of these guys, and it is the Grim Reaper is out.
Yeah.
And,
I do want to say, like, we could have very well lost this game.
We very well could have.
I mean, Teddy Two Gloves out here dropping a dime.
Teddy
on his own 7 to DJ Moore, I believe.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Teddy for just a real quick second. Here's the guy. So here's
a guy.
Now here's a guy.
That's all I thought too.
No, so everybody knows he comes in. He's a freshman with Zim, and things are great. Then he has a knee injury, and we have to let him go just because it was the situation. Trends and forces.
Right.
He gets signed to the Jets for no money.
Yep.
He got signed for the bare minimum amount of money. And then I don't know if he was traded to the Saints or however he got to the Saints. He might have been cut and then picked up.
I think he got picked up. Yep.
Yeah. And then
I forgot about the Jets.
And then so he's just a Saints backup, right? And Drew Brees gets hurt. And Teddy gets his opportunity.
Won 5 games.
5-0. 5-0. And then he signs a $63 million 3-year contract. What it's like, $21 million a year. That's not like top tier money, but like going from making nothing as an NFL starter to making $21 million a year.
And his knee injury.
Good for him. Good for him. Yeah. Like that's just like, I just have nothing but respect for Teddy, and I love him.
What's tough is that I can't help but feel like Carolina fans are probably just ripping him apart.
You think so?
Because they're 4-8. I don't know.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. He was playing really, really well. He was playing really well.
We don't watch enough Carolina games. Maybe it's the defense that's the bigger issue. The stat line is
deceptive. He has 1 touchdown and 1 interception, but that interception came deep in the red zone.
Yeah. Not to mention he doesn't have McCaffrey either, which is like Cousins without Cook.
Exactly. Like you need that running game to set up your passing game, and he is just. The way he was throwing the ball, I was like, this was not the Teddy Bridgewater we had. Like he was throwing strikes.
Yeah.
He was throwing it right where he needed to be. Nothing but respect for him. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about? I have some other things I want to talk about, but
go for it.
Out this game.
Yeah.
Just finishing out the game, they had that opportunity to kick that field goal, and he shanked it.
Dude.
Which it was. I mean, a 54-yarder is no gimme.
Yeah, but all game, all of his kicks were like hugging the goal, the goalpost.
Which
all of them.
That one, which they called good, but like I was watching on TV, I was like, was that good? And then I saw it on Twitter. A lot of people were being like, I'm not sure that was good. So I want to hear what Fourth and Goal listeners have to say. Was that field goal good or was it not good?
Okay, so I've heard 2 things. I didn't look into the rules. I think it was good. And by the way, by the reaction of the Panthers players, like they immediately went to pat him on the helmet.
Well, yeah, they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it.
No, not even selling it, but I'm assuming that from their angle too, that it might have
gone in at an angle.
And not to mention, it was above too,
post,
so it's hard to see as well. From our angle, when but
it's like at the end of a fight. At the end of a fight, if nobody was knocked out, they're going to raise their hands like they won. Because they want to show down. That's they're selling it.
Right. And kicks don't happen like that often, so it's like they don't even think to review it.
No, I know. I was just surprised that they didn't just at least take another firm look at it.
Unless you have an overhead angle, I feel like you won't know.
Yeah,
you just won't.
Yeah. Which maybe they should.
It could have been the difference of a game there.
I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. Yeah. You think they could afford a few more cameras.
I cry for better freaking cameras on the goal lines. Yeah, or above the field, above the line of scrimmage for 4th and 1s.
Yeah. dude. And what I don't understand is NBC typically has those. Like, regardless of whether it's on the goal line or in the middle of the field, they tend to have that to see, like, if you get that. And I'm not sure if that's a broadcasting thing or if that's an NFL thing. But, like, you tend to see those shots on Sunday Night Football, but you tend to not see them anywhere else. And it's weird. Speaking of broadcasts, Jonathan Vilma, oh my God, that guy needs to just not be a broadcaster. He is the most biased. Like, somebody like Justin Jefferson will trip and be like, that was fantastic coverage. Or he'll do blatant pass interference and he's like, that was good, that was a little tight, but I think it was a solid no call. I like that. He was going for the ball. It's like his head was turned around and his arms were not going for the ball at all. And
but you just know that stems back from 2009.
Dude, he was on. For those who don't know, he was on the 2009 Saints.
Yeah, it just does.
He was a part of Bounty Gate.
I remember the Cowboy game. I was watching. I didn't realize it was Jonathan Vilma. I don't know if every time I looked away, they showed their names and stuff, but
he was the worst.
He was commenting on all this stuff about how well the Cowboys. He was just literally shitting on the Vikings. Yeah, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
it was like I was annoyed the whole time. I'm like, I remember I kept saying, I was like, who is this guy?
It was so bad.
Yeah,
and the officiating for that Dallas game, we didn't get a chance to talk about the Dallas game, but the officiating was so bad.
So there's not too many games where I kind of cry refs this and that, but that was horrible.
The Vikings, they went 8 for 80.
Let's go through it, okay? So to start, it was a strip sack where Cousins took one to the head, and I think they went low on him.
Yeah,
and they didn't. The player got fined.
He got fined for that,
but there was no penalty
play.
And did they score a touchdown on that?
I think off of that,
not a return, but they ended up scoring. Yeah.
Yep.
So they got a touchdown off that, and then you had Harry.
Yep. Harrison.
The guy, he hit it in the air and he went to go grab it again. Then Smith led with his shoulder straight into his chest.
Not only that, but that was after the ball made contact with the receiver.
But he was going to go for a second catch too. So if he had let up and he caught that, then what are you going to do?
I know.
So that was a penalty there.
Yep.
Okay. And then the next drive or whatever, then Cook catches one, takes 2 steps, hasn't even fully turned around, didn't make a football move in my opinion, and got absolutely clocked. And they counted that a fumble.
Yeah. Which there was a very similar situation earlier in that very same game that they called an incomplete pass against that would have been in favor of the Vikings. So
dude, it was very biased. That game was
so weird.
The commentators and the refs.
It was just so weird. I've never seen anything that one-sided. But you know what? It's behind us. That was one that we really thought we could have won. One that we really probably needed.
That's a tough one because I think we'd be at the 7th spot. I think we'd be ahead of the Cards.
So let's talk about it. I want to talk about it. So right now we're sitting in the number 8 spot. We are 5-6. The Cardinals are 6-5, sitting in the 7th spot.
Cardinals lost to the Patriots, dude. They needed that one.
They did.
It was 20-17, I think.
They didn't need that.
I think they were up too.
So with the Bears lost last night,
dude,
on Sunday Night Football, that put us officially in front of the Bears.
Did you watch any of that?
I watched until
I happened to catch both of Trubisky's interceptions.
I didn't. I just watched until
one was chucked deep in the end zone, and the Packers guy literally casually caught it and went out of bounds. Then the other one was into triple coverage. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
If Kirk would do that, I would probably literally have an aneurysm. I would probably just die.
So let's talk path forward here. So the Cardinals. So we're 1 game behind the Cardinals. I'm not sure. So their division record is 2-1. They have some division games coming up. So let's talk about that. So next week they're playing the Rams.
Ooh,
they're playing the Rams, who
at home or on the road.
They're playing at home.
Okay,
so they're playing in Arizona against the Rams, who. I think they just lost to San Francisco, but the Rams are a good team, and they're definitely in the mix.
That whole division's good.
Good. I mean, the Rams are. Where are they? Yeah, so they're in the number 1 wild card spot right now at 7-4. So they're definitely still they're in their playoff spot. They're going to fight hard, and they're going to, that's a 3:00 game, so that'll be interesting. Then the Cardinals play the Giants, which that should be a win for the Cardinals. Then they play the Eagles, should also be a win for the Cardinals. Then they play the 49ers and then the Rams again.
Yeah.
And so it's like they have three tough division games.
Right.
I don't know. It'll come down to the wire.
It really
sure.
will. I mean, there's no question about it. And not to mention, I mean, Tampa's
that was the other one I wanted to talk about. Tampa.
I mean, this whole thing could look exponentially different. So
Tampa's sitting at 7-5. They are not the beast we thought they were. Pat.
No,
they are not. So looking at their schedule, so we play them next. They have a bye. They have a
their schedule. Yeah.
I'm looking at their schedule. So they have a bye. Then they play us December 13th. And then they play the Falcons, which
toss up, dude. Dan Quinn's gone. Falcons are a new team.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yeah. Then they play the Lions, which they should win that game.
Hey,
And
wait, no. Dude, Patricia's out.
That's true.
When
You never know.
coaches are out, man. It's
Throw
free,
everything out. You never know. And then they play the Falcons again, which, hold on. Why do you have 2 division games within 3 weeks? Like,
Dude,
the
but
whole
so do we.
NFL schedule.
So do
this
we.
year- I know, it's so dumb.
I was crying about that at the beginning of the year. I was like, who designed the schedule?
It's literally the worst schedule of all time.
It honestly is.
The worst schedule of all time. But there's some potential there for them to lose some games. And then looking at our schedule, we play Jacksonville, we play Tampa Bay, then we play the Bears, the Saints on Christmas Day, and then the Lions. You know, the Saints, if Drew Brees is back, that game might be winnable. I'd worry about if Taysom Hill is playing extremely well. But I see 4 wins in there, you know, at least. I've
taught myself I'm going week by week.
Week by week.
Week by week.
Is there a very real possibility that we sneak in this?
Just gonna watch the games, let them unfold.
Going 3-0 in our division on that 3-week run was huge for us.
Oh yeah, of course.
What's Tampa Bay's division record right now?
They're 2-2.
They're 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
They're 2-2, Pat. You know, and
so I mean,
we could have a better division.
So it's safe
record
to
than
assume that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to be as they are. So the Saints, Packers, Seattle. I mean, I guess there could be some shifting there. I suppose the NFC East could change.
They'll take each of their divisions.
But I'm saying that we can't slip in any of those, of course. Okay,
they'll take their divisions for sure. Same with the number 4, where obviously that's going to go to the NFC East, which is so dumb.
Right.
So it's really down to the wild cards.
I mean, man.
We're right, dude. That loss to the Cowboys. Oh,
yeah. No,
sorry.
No,
that loss to the Cowboys really hurt. If we had,
dude, we'd be 7-5.
We'd be in this. Well, and not only that, we'd be in the number 7 seed.
Yeah, we'd be 7 seed.
We would be, because we have a better division record than the Cardinals. We would be in the playoff picture right now, and then we would control our own destiny.
Right.
Like, ugh.
I might argue that it's almost better that it is the way it is, because then the Vikings just play with a different sense of urgency.
Yeah.
You know, now it's just, you got to just win. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting going forward. Dude, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm just trying not to, I'm not trying to get sucked into it again, man. I started the year off hot, and then we went,
trying to guard your heart.
1-5, then I cut it off, then I picked it back up, and then we lost to the fucking Cowboys. I was so irate after that, dude.
Dude, I know.
I'm just going week by week.
Dude, it was after we lost to the Cowboys, I just had to sit alone quietly by myself, just listen to Adele and just be really sad.
Adele. Gosh.
We should not have lost that. I'm upset about it. So
I honestly, I can't look back at the season and think about all the games that we should have won.
No.
Because it hurts.
There's so many games we should have won. Even Seattle. We should have beat Seattle. We should have beat Tennessee. Dude. We should be at 8 and whatever right now.
Why is it every year?
We should be at 8 and 3.
Why is it every year that we
should be 8 and 3? We should be 8 and 3, tied with the Packers for the NFC North. Honestly, we are like 2 bounces of the ball away. We are literally inches away from winning Seattle. We are inches away from winning in Tennessee, and we are some dumb refereeing away from winning. Actually, inches away from winning that Dallas game too. We are cumulative 1 yard away from being tied with the Packers.
Welcome to being a Vikings fan.
It's painful.
Welcome to every year of us saying we should have been this.
Well, we did promise some folks that we talk about Kirk Cousins and where he stands on the all-time Minnesota Vikings list. And I'm going to preface this by saying this is going to be a 2-part conversation. We're going to look at the historical list of the Vikings quarterbacks. And we're going to, in part 2, we'll take a look at how much they've contributed to the team directly.
I'm looking forward to part 2.
All right. So we're not going to go year by year. We're just going to go bulk by bulk. So our Vikings started out with Fran Tarkenton as their quarterback.
And it's without I don't even need to say it, but we didn't watch these guys, so it's kind of, we go off of what all the
how
older
can
people,
how can you deny fantastic Fran Tarkenton was like the old school Russell Wilson. You can't deny that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just prefacing by saying, like, we don't actually
Right. Joe Kapp, who was that guy?
Yeah. So
Gary Cuzzo.
I almost would rather. I know we're going through
Must be
the all-time
Italian.
list, but like,
Then it's back to Fran. All right, so now we're up to a little bit more modern with Tommy Kramer,
okay, sure.
right? So we have Tommy Kramer, and then Wade Wilson brings us into the 90s. And then in the year of my birth, 1990, we have Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon.
Still not very. Jim McMahon must have came here for a year in 93. Then Warren Moon. All right, now this is where we get to be a little more cognizant here. We have Brad Johnson, 1997. Brad Johnson and Randall Cunningham.
Oh my gosh, then we brought Brad back in 05.
Yes, dude. Then we had Randall Cunningham in 98, Moss's rookie year. Dude could just sling the ball. I love
There's a
Cunningham.
picture of oh, you're talking about Cunningham. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were Culpepper there. Culpepper's looking beefy on that picture. You seen that?
Dude,
picture there?
Culpepper was jacked. Here's the thing. Culpepper was never like a great quarterback.
Dude.
He could just sling the ball.
I still remember the game. Miami Dolphins on the road. He didn't slide. Took a shot to the knee. Out for the season. And there he's literally, his career was done right there.
Yeah.
I remember that, honestly.
Dude, that happens to more people. Drew Bledsoe.
He didn't slide.
Didn't slide.
It was like a middle of the game.
Culpepper was like a Cam Newton type where he's a big dude.
Yeah, he can take more
so he
more
can
of the
take more
brunt,
hits, So then we went from Randall Cunningham to Dante Culpepper, who I don't think Dante Culpepper was technically all that sound of a quarterback. I think he was just like Moss or Carter up there somewhere. They're gonna get it, So they just throw it 80 yards through the air, and Moss would go up and get it. Brad Johnson comes back, and he bridged the gap to Travaris Jackson, and the Travaris Jackson, Gus Rod, rest in peace.
Gus the Bus.
And then we get into the Ponder years, which were very dark. Dude, we stuck with Ponder for 3 solid years.
We did, and I can appreciate that because, man, we keep hitting the table. Because we gave the experiment a try.
Yeah.
You do have to give it a try.
Sort of. I mean, 2011 was our Donovan McNabb year, so he kind of shared the snaps with Ponder.
Too. Yeah.
Then Ponder had 2012 all to himself. And then I think we benched Ponder.
Well, 2012 was Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was the quarterback.
Adrian Peterson.
He was the quarterback.
That was Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, 2000 yards.
2012. And then in 13 it was the Ponder, Castle, and then Josh Freeman played a game
against the Giants. Guy flew off the plane, got off the plane like 24 hours, 48 hours before the game.
So Josh Freeman played a game. And then in walks Teddy, my man Teddy Bridgewater. Then he plays for the next couple of years. Then we have Bradford. We have the Keenum year, which 2017, who can forget?
Still my
favorite
season.
And now we're at Kirk.
Okay, so let's make this a little easier for us. Okay, let's not go all the way back on.
Let's not.
Okay, let's assume that the greats are the greats. I mean, frick, those guys were at 4 Super Bowls. We can't even compete with that. Okay,
Pat, this is our podcast. Let's take it back to Randall Cunningham. Let's just take it back to Randall Cunningham.
Okay, that's fair. Where's Cunningham at here?
97.
Okay, so go for it. Hit me with your list here from Cunningham down.
I didn't make a list.
Well, I didn't make a list either.
I didn't make a list. I'm just shooting from the hip here, talking. I think if we're looking at it, I think. Oh boy, if we're looking at most talented overall quarterbacks, why did Randall Cunningham leave? From what I understand, he was really, really good. I'm not sure what happened.
I can't even tell you, man.
I think Randall Cunningham was pretty good. We skipped over Brett Favre. I don't know how we skipped over Brett Favre.
Yeah, we did skip over Brett. How could we forget that?
I think Brett Favre is probably the best quarterback to play for the Vikings between now and 97.
And Cunningham?
I think it goes.
Okay,
I think it goes Brett, Cunningham. If we're talking technically sound, I would go Kirk at number 3, and then I would go Dante, and then I would go Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater.
Wait, we're just going like technically statistical
technically sound
stats and
as a quarterback.
Stats, just dumping the ball off where it needs to go.
Stats, QBR, that type of thing.
Okay.
And I don't have their actual QBR up, so I'm just going from what I.
Favre, Cunningham, Cousins.
Favre, Cunningham, Cousins.
Culpepper. And then are you going, what's next then? So just go off of, we're going to, okay.
Yeah.
We got Bradford, Keenum, Bridgewater, and Ponder. Give me those ones.
So then I would go Bridgewater.
Okay.
Keenum, Bradford, Ponder. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it's got to be.
Fair. Okay.
I mean, maybe we're not giving Sam Bradford a fair shake. He had, I remember his game 1 of one of these seasons. We were playing against the Saints, and it was effortless. He threw for 330 yards, 3 touchdowns.
The one thing people say about Bradford is that he's one of the most intellectually sound quarterbacks of like the
I don't think I'm
generation.
giving Bradford a fair shake.
And
I
his
think,
knees, the guy's poor knees,
Oh, my
man.
God.
He couldn't
What can
scramble.
you-
to
I mean, what can you
3 or
do?
4 ACL tears.
And then after he tries to come back from an injury, I remember it was like Halloween night. We were playing in Soldier Field, and he's trying to drop back to pass.
I remember that.
And he's just
I
like
remember that.
clunkily walking back.
Get the cane out.
Got the cane. Oh, it was bad. And that was the game. So he came back. So Case Keenum played 2 games for us.
Yes.
And then Bradford tried to come back, and then we pulled Bradford.
Yeah.
I think at halftime.
It was a terrible game.
And then Keenum came back out.
But the worst part was that we were always in the game. We were always in the game.
yeah.
So it was just like a slow bleed,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Until you
I know.
bleed out by the end of the clock.
I know. So I'd put Kirk at number 3. I'd put Kirk as the number 3 most
Statistically
sound,
sound- yeah.
most from the most sound quarterback play possible. Now you can talk about how Case Keenum could rally the troops. You could talk about how
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater was, a feel good story. You could talk about how Dante Culpepper had Randy Moss.
Yeah.
I'm talking a quarterback standing on their own abilities.
Yeah.
I'm putting Kirk at number 3.
I honestly don't think I would change much, to be completely frank.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been one to say that Kirk Cousins is one of the more accurate quarterbacks. When he's when he's playing like he is,
Yeah.
the guy's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's really great. When he's moving around the pocket, he's great.
So looking at the past 23 years, Kirk. But here's the other thing that you need to evaluate here outside, and maybe we'll get into this in part 2, but like Randall Cunningham wasn't going to be a long-term solution. Brett Favre was not going to be a long-term solution. Kirk Cousins is a long-term solution. He's a guy that we're not going to have to ride the carousel with, and so maybe we have to weigh that into it too.
So
Case Keenum could have been a long-term
hang on.
solution.
So you're saying, are we assuming? Let's just play with this.
Yeah.
Okay. We draft a quarterback either this year or next year. Okay. Do we extend Cousins?
If he's playing like he is. And I don't think it's necessarily the wrong decision to draft a quarterback early in these. Look at Jordan Love. He got drafted. Aaron Rodgers still has a few good years left, right? Not saying that we don't draft a quarterback. I'm just saying that Kirk is going to give us, he's in his 3rd year with us. I think we're going to get 4 more years out of him. 7 years of quarterback play, consistent.
4 more years, dude?
Given looking, we haven't had a quarterback for 4 years since Dante Culpepper.
No.
Dude, the way Kirk's been playing, if he can keep playing like this, you wouldn't take 4 years of Carolina Kirk.
Dude. These were 2 games out of his entire. He just won his first Monday Night Football game against the Bears in his career.
Oh my gosh, there's no talking.
There's no talking sense.
I thought you were finally being reasonable.
I make the most
I thought you were
sense.
finally going to be reasonable about Kirk Cousins.
I am. No, I am. Listen, Sam, I can't. Okay, if I'm going to be the one that's irrational with this, right? You're being just as irrational because these are just 2 fucking games, and all of a sudden he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen on planet Earth. All of a sudden you're sending all these tweets about how his QBR is just past Tom Brady, 42-year-old Tom Brady.
Yeah, you know who's
creeping up to Aaron Rodgers,
the only people ahead of him. Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and then it's Kirk Cousins.
I'm not going to argue that that's not great. Because how can I sit here and act like that's not great? It is.
Good company.
It is great company. It is. Okay. If he cleans up a couple of these things that happened in the beginning of the season, we're sitting at the top 4 right now. Okay, but why is it every year that
I want to know? I want to know the Fourth and Skull listeners think. Where would you place Kirk in the last 23 years? So next time,
here's the other thing, though. It's not fair to end this discussion because he still has this year and the rest of the next year. So it's not. We can't really.
But I think people want to know, where does Kirk land on this list? And I think the biggest thing that you need to take into consideration is we're not playing the carousel game anymore. That's huge. That's huge.
Does it matter though if we go 8-8? And then, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Sure.
Like, are we looking to do a Marvin Lewis tenure?
I don't know.
Do we want to do that? Andy Dalton, Marvin Lewis? Do we want to just go 1 and out? Do we want to keep paying Kirk Cousins big money?
Stop. All right. Join us next time on the Fourth and Skull podcast. We'll be previewing the Jacksonville Jaguars game. And they put up one heck of a fight against the Browns, who
Kevin
Stefanski, I think, should be up for coach of the year.
I think Minshew still starting over there?
I think Stefanski should be coach of the year. No, Minshew's gone. It's they had Luton, and they benched him for he's a guy that's been he's been a He was on the Bears for a while. Mike Glennon, I think.
From the
Glennon.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Bucks and Bears,
Yeah.
So they lost by 2?
Yeah.
To the Browns.
But the Browns, you know what? Like, I think Kevin Stefanski is a real contender for Coach of the Year. And, man.
Listen, this is not going to be a cakewalk of a game.
How different would our future be? If rather than hiring John DeFilippo, we just hired Kevin Stefanski like Mike Zimmer wanted? You know, everybody was so enamored with the Eagles and their Super Bowl win. We went after some freaking quarterback coach that was not a sound offensive coordinator. Where do you think we would be right now, dude? I think because that John DeFilippo year was so bad. It was so bad.
That was horrible.
It was so bad. Like Zimmer was actively in press conferences saying, "Run the ball." I don't know why I need to be saying this in the media.
It's so tough though. That's the thing about football is that you can't. There's so many facets to the game that you can't pick one thing and say this is wrong, this is right.
Yeah.
Like there's too many facets in the game.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Well, maybe there'll be more to come when we preview the Jacksonville game. So join us next time on the Fourth and Skull podcast. And until then, Skull Vikings.